Hello, here's Lithas. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are going to check out a new set of champions that recently came out. And these characters are, let's just say, uniquely weird, weirdly unique. I was really surprised and shocked when I saw these two champions, because I was expecting them to have elephant, mosquito, or swordfish resemblances. But no, not today it seems. And by the way, the reason I thought that is because recently we have been getting one demi-animal after the other. While I'm not complaining, but it just programmed my brain to think that we are gonna get another humanoid, animals, or furries. Anyways, before I start daydreaming about swordfish sushi, let's get started by having a look at the female champion. By the way, as we can see on the screen, the clan name of these two champions is the Parade, but I prefer to call them the Jokers. Back to the topic. Okay. So this is the female champion, aka our female Joker. The literal first thing I noticed about her is the typical Joker bloody smile. We all can see where this character idea came from. As for her clothes, I never really thought of purple and green combo as a compatible thing. But somehow it just freaking works. Now, let's not forget that she's holding... that is a gun, right? It's like a pew-pew gun. More like beams if I'm not mistaken. Let's just check out her skills now, cause I cannot wait any further. So, her active skill is called Senseless Violence. She will use her beam gun to fire 2 shots at one of the enemies in the front. Each shot deals 245% damage of the champion's strength. Now, this champion seems to have 2 states. I don't know exactly how to pronounce them, but it's the grotesque status and the frenetic status. So, basically, it's like she has 2 personalities. I will call them Mrs. Grotesque and Mrs. Frenetic. Her Mrs. Grotesque personality is very kind. So after she fired those 2 beams, if she is in her Grotesque personality, she will heal all of the allies within a range for 100% of the pellet damage. On the contrary to that, her other personality, aka Mrs. Frenetic, is extremely evil. So if by any chance she is in her Mrs. Frenetic personality, when shooting those 2 laser beams, she will literally deal damage to all, and I mean all characters within a certain range. The allies will take 80% of the pellet damage, which is non-lethal for them, and they will gain a frenetic effect for 5 seconds. So that was the active skill. After reading the skill, to be honest, I don't know how to feel about it. I really don't know how to feel about it, because let me be honest, I'm not a big fan of her damaging ally champions as well. Like, we just gotta hope that she's in her Mrs. Grotesque personality when using her active, I guess. As for her passive skill, for every 6 seconds she will pull the trigger and shoot a beam. It is randomized whether it's Mrs. Grotesque or Mrs. Frenetic who shoots the beam. Each bullet's effect, which we mentioned about in the active skill, remains active until the next shot is fired. When more than 2 allied champions have died, Mrs. Frenetic feels excited and triggered and takes forcefully over to shoot a bullet. This passive skill also mentions that Mrs. Grotesque takes 30% less damage and has a 80% chance to get 50 energy additionally when being attacked, while Mrs. Frenetic deals 30% more damage and has a 80% chance to get 50 energy additionally when she attacks. So basically, Mrs. Grotesque is more of a defensive person, while Mrs. Frenetic is more of an offensive person. The passive skill also reduces the frenetic effect on allies by 20%. Well, the passive skill does help us understand the 2 personalities better, to be honest, and things make more sense now. Let's have a look at the ultimate skill of hers. Her ultimate skill is called Gleeful Rampage. Here, she will enter a frenzy status for 5 seconds and fire at a random enemy or ally champion. So once again, she is risking her own allies. She fires at the champion 3 times every 1 second, where every shot deals damage equal to 170% of her own strength. The damage dealt to ally champions is once again non-lethal though, which is a good thing at least. The rapid firing has no range limit, which means she can hit back row champions too. When she deals this shooting damage to opponent targets, they will not restore their own energy. While female Joker is going on this frenzy mode, she takes more damage and each attack heals 20% of the damage dealt. If she is Mrs. Grotesque while using her ultimate, then she will be immune to control effects. On the contrary, if she is Mrs. Frenetic, she will have 15% more critical rate. The allied champion hit also gains a frenetic effect for 4 seconds. The ultimate sounds a little complicated, to be honest, but I tried my best explaining it. Now that we are done with the female Joker, let's check out the male Joker. The first thing I noticed about the champion is the bug. As you can see, the animation has some kind of error, which makes the character freeze up. I really hope they fix this issue soon. Anyways, similar to the female character, this guy also has a gun and a purple energy swirling around the same hand he's holding the gun with. Additionally to that, he is holding a dark orb in his other hand. I wonder how different his skills will be from the female, which we will get to soon. Before that, let's discuss his character design. In my personal opinion, I don't like it very much. Compared to the female character's design, it's kinda meh. But it's not bad either. I'm not saying that. This is just completely my own personal opinion. The quality is good and the effort put into making this green and golden design seems fair. Now, let's start up with his active skill. Okay, so I think the dark orb is actually a smoke grenade. When using the active skill, he will throw a smoke grenade into the most crowded area, and then it deals damage equal to 460% of the champion's strength to the enemies that are covered in smoke. The smoke only lasts for 6 seconds and reduces the hit rate by 30%. When an enemy in the smoke triggers dodge, the champion gets excited and gains 40 energy. When hiding in the smoke, they gain an additional 40% attack speed without awing from the hit rate reduction. Why do I feel like how it's written is exactly how I used to type it? It became harder to rephrase the skill all of a sudden. Did Bloodline just copy my writing style? Lol. Anyways, it does look like a pretty skill, not gonna lie. And they did manage to make this one different from the female skill. Let's see the passive skill, which is called Master of Mischief. That's a pretty name. So this champion also has a tendency of hurting its own allies, unfortunately. Male Joker has a 20% chance of landing a hit on an ally, but he will luckily deal 30% less damage to them, which will grant him 50 rat. I don't know what the rat points does, but maybe we will figure out later. Similar to the female, his attack will not kill the target. When an ally or enemy champion die, our male Joker feels hyped up and starts attacking faster for the next 3 seconds. During these 3 seconds of sped up attacks, he deals a total damage equal to 500% of the champion's strength and an additional damage equal to 500% of the target's constitution loss, capped at 400% of caster's attack. Maybe because I'm kinda sleepy and everything, but I'm having difficulties understanding what is meant by the very last part. Capped at 400% of caster's attack. If you understood what is meant by that, or have a theory, I would love to hear about it in the comment section below. Let's move on to the final skill, aka the ultimate of surprises. This guy really loves his bombs a lot. When using the ultimate, he will throw bombs to 3 random targets, which deals damage equal to 275% of his own strength. The bomb explodes almost instantly, and once again deals damage equal to 275% of his own strength to his surroundings. This final blast gives the fear effect to the targets for 2 seconds. For each enemy that's being hit, our male Joker ups his attack by 6% for 6 seconds. It sounds like a really cool ultimate, and I would love to see it in action, to be honest. But I'm not sure which ultimate is stronger, the female's ultimate or the male's. One thing I do know though is that female's ultimate is definitely cooler. Female Joker, having multiple personalities, makes her way more interesting. While as for the male champion, I'm sorry to say this, and it's just my own personal opinion, but his skills feels kinda the same. It's all about that bomb. And then there's not much new stuffs, if you know what I mean. Thus, if I could choose right now which champion I want, I would go for the female. But overall, because of this clan champion's tendencies of inflicting damage to allies, I don't know about you all, but I'm not going to summon for these champions. Although, who knows? The Parade clan's champions may turn out to be really good champions overall. So, What champion do you think would be the best pick? And if you think that this clan is worth summoning for, do let us know in the comments below. Anyways, that will be all for now. If you liked today's content, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I will see you all in the next one. Take care, stay foxy, adios, bye.